Hey, this is Stuart and welcome to this fourth and final video in the video series where I'm revealing to you the true secrets of the new rich. And in this video, we're going to be diving into one of my all-time favorite topics, something that I've been speaking on professionally for over 8 years now, and that is lifestyle by design. But before we get into that, let me just refresh your memory on what we've covered in the video series so far to get to this point. So in the first video, I really shared two major insights that I needed to have and that I think most other people need to have in order to realistically set themselves up for time and financial freedom. Now, it's also important to remember that the whole concept with the new rich is it's not one where you need to be worth millions or have hundreds of thousands set aside in order to be able to really live your best life. It's much more about understanding how to separate time and money and set yourself up with systems or income streams that are working whether you are or not. Okay? And what that allows us to do is really start to think about the things that we want to do with our lives, and whether it be travel more or do more things with our day-to-day life with exercise or spending time with family or doing the school run. We're able to do that. We're not depriving ourselves from the things that really matter to us most. Then the second video, I then gave you some very specific ideas and examples of income streams and business models that you can start doing right away in today's digital economy. Income streams and business models that didn't exist pre-internet, didn't exist in the world that was created in the Industrial Revolution. So because of that, very, very few people know about these types of income streams or even understand them. Then in the third video, I really just shared some mindsets and growth strategies that will enable you to rapidly grow those income streams by applying certain approaches and strategies in the digital world. And then in this video, as I said before, we're diving into my all-time favorite topic of lifestyle by design. And this is most relevant if you've gone through the video series, because now it's all going to start to make sense in terms of how this is all achievable. Now, one of the things I do want to be clear on is that this isn't a video, this video now is not a video about vision boards or some sort of grand idea of fancy mansions and fast cars and a lot of the other stuff that you see when it comes to sort of making money online or starting some sort of entrepreneurship journey. For one, I'm actually not a big, huge believer of vision boards. That's not to say I don't think they have a place, and I actually use something fairly similar myself each and every year. But what I do want to say is that actually vision boards typically are quite good to motivate us to get off our butt that day. You know, we sort of, go on and watch a few motivational videos. We sort of set out and sort of really think about the things that we want to achieve in life, quite often experiences and material things. It all feels very good, motivates us. But if you've ever done something like that, how do you feel a week later? How do you feel 2 weeks later? Is it something that really lasts? Yes, it might serve as a good reminder, but is it something that really lasts? Then we've got things like law of attraction. If you've ever read The Secret or watched the movie, it's really about sort of thinking about the things that we want to achieve, and then supposedly the universe are going to show us the way. Now, I'm not really against the law of attraction. I actually have my own belief system around how that works and why it can be very effective. But the reality is we do just need to start taking action now. We need to actually do things right now if we're going to set ourselves up for success. But what I want to suggest is that it's not about the big grand vision. What you're typically going to find in any journey, and you'll probably relate to this, is as you evolve, as your journey goes on, quite often the things that you want now and in life in general change. I know for me, I've gone through many different cycles, and often I've gone through cycles of doing things and buying things and achieving things that aren't really my own goals. They're more of society's goals. I'll give you one example. I've had the big home, I've had the Lamborghini, all of the things that you typically see you need to do as a guy that makes money on the internet. But I was left within a few weeks of buying my Lamborghini and moving into my home thinking, actually, is this what I want? I'm actually a sports car fanatic. I love my cars. I have my flashy cars right now, but it wasn't a Lamborghini that was really the car of my dreams. It was the car of somebody else's dreams. Yet I got myself into this situation where I was driving my Lamborghini, but actually it wasn't my dream car. Might get into that story another day. But the point is this, is that self-awareness and really understanding and knowing what we truly want is more important than any sort of material vision. I think it's really important to know the type of experiences you want and the things that you want to do with your life. For me, nothing or few things have beaten the experiences and the lessons that I've learned from being able to travel the world and experience different cultures. But in actuality, the things I appreciate most after being in this sort of space for a decade and really trying to figure out my own path, it's a lot of the small things that really matter more than some of the extravagant things. So I want to suggest that one of the best things that you can do early on in your journey is really figure out, what does your average, and that's the key word, your average ideal day look like? You know, from the point you wake up to the point you go to bed, what would your average ideal day look like? So it's all very well thinking about jetting around the world and getting on, you know, some sort of flashy first-class flight on a Boeing 747. I think they're getting out of date now. Shows that I'm not up to date. But, you know, it's all very well having this vision of, you know, all of these sort of extravagant, exciting things. But again, would you want to do that every single day of your life? Would you want to go first class and sit on a plane for maybe 6 or 7 hours every single day? You know, even when you think about some of the other things like beaches, you know, a lot of people on their vision board, the beautiful beaches of the world. Again, take a moment to think, would you want to be on that beach every single day of your life? Now, maybe the answer is yes, and there's nothing wrong with that. I know from my experience, when I spent one particular year in 2010, a lot of time was on beaches that I got pretty bored. And again, was it a little bit more for the social media than it was actually for myself? And sometimes you have to experience these things for yourself. It's all good and well me sharing that perspective. But I think what I'm going to share with you right now will not only make sense, but it will be something that you can start doing immediately and improve your life from this day forward right now. And I promise you, I really do mean that. So average ideal day. Let me just talk you through what my average ideal day looks like. So first of all, I naturally wake up and I don't have an alarm clock. I'm actually a little bit more of an early riser than what I once was. I'd be lying if I said I didn't have a few 10 a.m. starts, you know, a few years ago. But I tend to naturally wake up around 6:30 in the morning, now 7 in the morning. But I just love the fact that there's no alarm clock. I get up and then I have a beautiful girlfriend who is prepared to bring up a coffee for me. It's not something that I've requested. Our relationship somehow, I'm the lucky one here, organically has evolved into that. We've got this routine where Katie goes downstairs and brings me up a coffee, and I sit out on the balcony of our bedroom. It's just a little balcony, and I just take a moment to enjoy my coffee and practice a bit of gratitude. You know, what I do is I just sort of take a moment, and, you know, the things I'm grateful for, maybe the average person isn't able to be grateful for. And it's not because it's extravagant things, but it is things like, oh, I don't have to commute today. It's things like, oh, I don't have to answer to a boss today. Often the things that I'm most grateful for is that I've got the opportunity to be of value to others. You know, very often my morning reflection is that my day before something felt really good because I was able to help someone or be a good guide for someone, a mentor to someone. Support someone who's going through something challenging. And I'm ever so grateful to be in that situation, that I'm able to be that person to so many people. Now, from there, what I tend to do is I move on with my day and I stick on my jogging bottoms, I tuck them into my socks, and I put on my trainers and I look like a right goon, and I go down into my home gym. I just have a little small home gym. It serves the purpose, and I get to work out. And again, of course, I'm grateful for the fact that I've been able to set myself up, that I've got time and enough space for a little home gym. But again, I would argue that it's nothing that's that extravagant. Before I had my home gym, it was no different. I just used to go a few miles down the road and work out at the local centre. You know, but it was something that is really important in my day to just sort of set me up for the day ahead. From there, what I'll tend to do is come up, play with the dogs a little bit, and then I'll just kind of relax, usually on the sofa, and just have a pen and paper and really review what I'm going to do that day to be productive and be successful. Now, my productivity is one of, yes, I write lists of things that I need to get done, but the reality is that no matter how accomplished we are in our weeks, our months, our days, to-do lists are always going to be there. So I try not to judge my success on how many things I've ticked off my to-do list, because tick off 2 things, another 10 things are going to show up. So what I actually do, and this is the tip I want to share with you, is I really just look at what needs to be done within my list. And then I say to myself, at the end of the day, what things would make me feel amazing if I got those things done? Okay, this is a really important thing that I want to share with you. This is not something I really hear anyone else talk about, but I look at my list and I think, what will make me feel really good? Now, sometimes they are the urgent things that need to get done. They're often the things that I don't really want to have to do. But again, rather than being negative about it and thinking, God, I've got to get this done, I'm like, well, if I did get that done, how amazing would it feel? You know, sometimes that's a business thing. Sometimes it's a family or a friend thing that I should be doing. Could be something as simple as picking up the phone and speaking to my grandparents. But again, if I really take a moment to think about what will make me feel great at the end of the day, they're the things I get to work on and get done. And the funny thing is quite often the things that I know will make me feel great at the end of the day, the things that normally I would have approached with a negative mindset. Oh God, I've got to get the garage cleared out. Oh God, I've got to work on this project. I've got to write this post. I've got to shoot this video. I've got to do this campaign or whatever else it might be. And yet with that approach of sort of that will make me feel amazing, I get the things done. And, you know, in life, I think that we're never going to have a to-do list that's empty. There is always going to be things that show up. So from that point on, the rest of my day is really focusing on getting those things done. Some days I work many, many hours and I'm very committed and persistent in my work ethic. Take a break here, take the dogs for a quick walk. Actually, that's a big part of my lifestyle by design. Every day I'll take the dogs out, even if it's just 20 minutes. Sometimes it's an hour, sometimes it's more. But even if I'm having a really bad day, I still take the time to take the dogs out. Again, though, that doesn't cost me anything. This is something that I'm able to do, and I'm lucky, yes, that I am able to have a lot of systems in place. I've got the time and the resources to be able to do that. But again, it's one of the more simple things. Then I'll come back, and often 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I'll just take half an hour to chill out with my girlfriend. Maybe I'll have a friend over for a coffee and just relax for a bit, just to enjoy the afternoon. And then I'll sort of review. Have I got more to get done, or should I treat myself and go and sit in the hot tub and again relax a little bit? Before I had the hot tub, sometimes I'll just take a hot bath. Something that I quite enjoy. But again, getting in a hot bath, it doesn't really cost anything. It's not something that you would typically see on the vision board. I hope you're starting to really think about some things here, and that's that. Just sharing with you my average ideal day. It's not all that extravagant. It isn't flying first class or being on the best beaches of the world. One of the things that I experienced very early on in my journey is you can have all of the things that society suggests that we should want, but you can still be left feeling empty, unfulfilled, and unhappy. In fact, some of my time where I've been traveling the world and doing the social media stuff and showing the world what I'm up to have been the times I've been left there kind of scratching my head thinking, what's wrong with me? Why am I not feeling how I am showing I am on my social media? And that's why I tended to really stop a lot of that stuff, because it wasn't at integrity with really who I am. Now, there are times that I really enjoy being on the beach, but typically it's a week at a time, and it's a reward for having sort of, achieved something for myself. And I feel much happier about that than just sort of thinking that success is being able to be on the beach all day. Reality is I could live on the beach and work on the beach and relax on the beach as much as I want. Have a lot of systems in place. I have a big team of people. I don't have people chasing me down to get things done. The things that I get done, though, are the things that I want to get done. And that's because I'm passionate and purposeful in what I do. The whole point of everything I'm sharing with you here, and this is one of the overarching messages of this whole video series, is I'm a big believer that happiness creates success, not the other way around. And so what I want to suggest is that if you can really figure out what your average ideal day looks like, take a moment to really plan that out rather than some extravagant vision board. And what you're typically going to find is your brain will figure out ways for you to start living more of that life. And as you start to live more of that life, you're going to have more self-esteem because your integrity with your soul. And as your integrity with your soul, things will start to show up in your life that are going to help you achieve more of the things that really matter to you. So rather than focusing on extravagant experiences and focusing on the grandiose vision, just start to really think about who you really are. Check in with yourself, have a degree of self-awareness. And you know what? The chances are there are going to be some extravagant experiences that are on your vision board. There's going to be the nice houses and the nice cars. I'm very lucky. I live in a beautiful home. I have land around me. I've got my home gym. I've got my home cinema. One of the things that we end on our day most evenings is we just chill out and watch a movie in the cinema room. Yes, that's kind of a fortunate position to be in, but do you know what? I could still do that on my 32-inch TV in my living room and still get most of the pleasure. Yeah, it's a little bit more pleasure having the big speakers and the sound and the big screen. But again, it's more about knowing what I want in life. And it's not so much about screeching down the streets in a Lamborghini saying, look at me, look at me. I'd quite happily be staying in, watching a movie with my girlfriend in my boxer shorts. Now there's a thought. Look, lifestyle by design is different for everybody. The most important thing is being self-aware, checking in with yourself. And here is where I want to finish up this video. Do this exercise. Really think about what your average ideal day would look like. And here's my challenge to you. Start doing more of that now. Start doing more of that now. You know, if it's going for brisk walks, go for a brisk walk. Start doing it. Don't have excuses. I'll do that later in life. I'll do that when I'm successful. I'll do that when I'm retired. I'll do that later. Start doing more of the things you want to do now. If it's walking, having a hot bath, if it's taking the dogs out, you know, if it's watching a movie, take the time to do it. We live in a world today where you're far better off working smarter than harder. And as I said before, happiness creates success. The problem is that when we're stressed, when we forget to live and put everything to later in life, we start to resent the things that we're doing. You start trying to build a business around your job, but then you're neglecting all of the things that you really want to do in life. Time with your kids, time with your spouse. You start neglecting your health, the way that you look after yourself, the food that you eat. It's only so long before you start to really resent the situation you're in and give up on your dreams. I would argue that you're far better off working 10 hours a week on your side business, but make them the best, happiest 10 hours than what you are trying to squeeze in 30 hours around your already 50, 60, 70 hour a week job. Work smart, positive mindset, thinking in a way that's positive and productive. It's worth its weight in gold. Many, many people are busy fools, constantly complaining and moaning and whinging about how hard life is. And do you know what? I have compassion for those people. Life can be really hard. Sometimes we're dealt things that are completely out of our control, but many of the things that we don't like in life have been our choices. Your career is your choice. Yeah, maybe your parents have influenced you and encouraged you to go into something that you don't really want to be in. Maybe right now you're 50 years old and you're in a career that you've been in for 30 years. And you think back and you think, why did I do this career? Well, it was because my parents expected it of me. But at the end of the day, it was still your choice. You're an adult. And you've got to be an adult about your situation and your circumstances. And it's down to you to make the decisions, to make the change. So if you want to create change, start with creating a vision of your average ideal day and start living more of it now. If you haven't exercised for 10 years, but you know that's something you would do if you happen to be semi-retired, don't make that an excuse. Start exercising. You can find 20 minutes, half an hour to do a little workout, whether it's at home or whether it's at your local gym. If you know you're eating a lot of bad foods, mark my words, 20% of my diet is pretty bad. But you know what? 80% of it is very good. But you know what? If you're in this situation where it's like, well, I'm too busy to eat healthy, rubbish. Absolute rubbish. You know, if you know that you would eat healthy if you were semi-retired or you had more money or you had more time, you're tricking yourself thinking that you can't do more of that now. Self-esteem is so important in this journey of success, and self-esteem will only come from within. Nobody can gift it to you. You can't buy self-esteem. If you don't like the way you treat yourself, the food you eat, the way you exercise, the way you treat people, no amount of success or money will change that. You've seen that. I know you already know the rich, angry, resentful, stressed person who resents others or resents their situation or is moaning and whinging and complaining all the time. And also you know that you know individuals that have very little in life. You know, they haven't achieved maybe the material success, but they're happy. They're good people. They smile. Now also don't be fooled by thinking that rich people are unhappy. That's one of the stupidest things that I've ever heard. I've definitely been happier as I've had more resources, as I've had more money. But money and success will only make you more of what you already are. The quality of your life is a direct reflection of the quality of your habits. Don't forget that. The quality of your life is a direct reflection of the quality of your habits. If you spend 20 years trying to be successful and you become successful, but your habits are horrible, money's just going to make you do more of those bad habits. You drink yourself silly, take more drugs. You know, how many times do we see the celebrity that goes off the edge of the cliff? So often it's because they achieve so much so quickly, and they think that that end result of fame and fortune is what's going to make them happy. But then this is where it all goes downhill, when they realize they're the same person that they were before. If you feel empty down here, you'll feel empty up here. If you feel like you've got no real purpose down here, you'll feel like you've got no real purpose up here. And you'll just have more time to think about it, and you'll have more money to make more mistakes and more likely to self-sabotage. Start with the simple things. Start being the person that you want to be now, not later. Success will come. Happiness creates success. Success does not create happiness. You got into this video series for a reason, and I believe it is because you want to improve your quality of life. Our community is here to support you every step of the way. Mark my words, we are here for you. This is about you and your individual journey and your individual path. Check out this final clip, and once you've checked it out, I really encourage you to submit your risk-free application to us. Find out what our education is all about. Find out about what we've got to offer you. It's 100% risk-free, $29.95 to submit an application. You're going to get a bundle of training. You're going to get access to our consultants. You're going to begin a journey you will not regret. Thanks so much for checking out this video series. I'll see you on the inside very, very soon. Take care.
Don't ever forget how you felt on your very first Momentum Day. We walked into a room very similar to this. We believed that we'd found a road, a community, a pathway to creating something new and different in our lives. What that looks for each and every one of us is unique and different, and that's the beauty of it. Let's face it, it's about our livelihood. It's about, more importantly, it's about our life. And I want to honor each and every one of you for whatever it took to get to where you're sitting here. We're all here for you. And it's an honor and privilege to be on the path with you all as you move forward.
Do not squander your opportunity in life, whatever that is. You're capable of incredible things.